First thing we're going to want to do at the beginning of the day is actually turn the assistant's instrumentation on down here. We're also going to have a toggle switch for the doctor's instrumentation. What we're going to go over now is how to position and to clean the assistant's instrumentation. We have two HVEs, one syringe and one saliva ejector, and a touchpad. Now that this is active, we're going to go ahead and set this up for the assistant in the configuration that he or she would like. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the configuration this way. So HVE, syringe, HVE, saliva ejector. Meaning if you would like this over here and this over here, contact your local service department. For now, we positioned it this way. Once we've positioned all of the tubings the way that we want, we're going to go down below and configure them so we don't have tangle like you see now. Once we're here below, you'll see that the HVE is on the far left, syringe, HVE, and then saliva ejector. What we're going to want to do is have the far left line up with the far left here, the middle line up with the middle, and the saliva ejector on the far right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take here and we're going to pop these off individually. Then we're going to untangle. Since this is on the far left up here, it needs to be in the far left over here. So we're just going to pop that back up in there. We're going to take the middle one, which happens to be the saliva ejector. We're going to line that up, place it in the middle. Finally, take the saliva ejector, place this on the far right. Now you see our tubings are lined up. So now that we've configured these the way that the assistant likes, now we're going to show you how to clean these. First of all, we have two brushes, a big one and a little one, and some A-dec lubricant. The rest of this will not be needing. So we have a big brush, a little brush, and two lubricants that come with it. Please only use A-dec lubricant. Do not use any Vaseline or other petroleum type products. We want to only use A-dec silicone here. So what we want to do is we're going to count the number of O-rings that we need to clean. This is probably the least maintained instrument in the practice. So we're going to start by counting the O-rings. O-ring number 1 is located right here. What we're going to want to do is take this off, take it into sterilization, thoroughly clean this so that it looks like it's new and shiny. That's really our goal here. So once we clean this out, then we're going to want to grab a cotton tip applicator, tear open this package, squirt a little bit on our syringe, on our cotton tip applicator, and just simply wipe around there until that O-ring has been lubricated. So that is number 1. Number 2, we're going to want to push and twist, and this pops out. Once this is out, again, we would take this in the sink, thoroughly clean this until it's visibly clean. Then we're going to get some more silicone on here and just wipe it around this on both sides until it looks shiny. Then, located inside of here, there's the internal ring here. Over on this side, there's not one. We ask that you put it into the side that has an internal ring and it snaps. If not, if we put it on the other side, the one without an internal ring, it will still fit, but every time we turn it on, it will pop out. So make sure you put it on the side with the ring and have A-dec listed facing up, and it will make a snap. So that's 1 O-ring, 2, 3. Pull this off. Number 4 is located right here. Once we've cleaned that, again, more lubricant to make sure that we have a nice swivel here for our assistant. And finally, down inside of here, we have a trap. So if you lose suction here and you clean the trap and you still don't have suction, more than likely you've got a cotton roll lodged in there. Once we clean that out, snap this on, and now you have a nice swivel. So that is 4 O-rings so far. Over here we have 4 more because it's the same saliva ejector or HVE valve. Your saliva ejector would be number 4, 8, 9. So we do the same thing once we clean it. We're going to take this and lube this. When we're using the saliva ejector, we have the tendency to put the saliva ejector in and try to bend it. If it pops out like this, it just means that you're not using enough force, especially since we just lubricated this. So what we want to do instead is we want to take, and as we push this in, push hard and twist. So push hard, twist, you could hear that. And then now when I do this, this is not coming off at all. So especially when it's lubricated, we want to make sure that we're doing this properly. Push hard, twist, it's not coming out. So that's lubricant point O-ring number 4, 8, 9. Push and twist. 10. We put this back in, again make sure that that says A-dec facing upward. Snaps in. And number 11 is located inside of the tubing. So that's 11 of the 16 O-rings. Next we'll have to go down below. Okay, we've covered 11 of the 16 O-rings thus far. So we have 11, 12, 13, 14 contact points that we need to cover so far. So I simply take here, pop this off, but you'll notice you have an O-ring inside of here as well as on the nipple of the vacuum. So 11, 12, 13, 14 contact points I'm going to call it. Just know that we have 2 O-rings on here, both need to be cleaned and lubricated, and what that allows us to do is have a nice swivel here as well as up at the contact point. Now that we've covered 11, 12, 13, 14 contact points, our 15th contact point is below this canister. So we'd pop this open. This is number 15, and we want to clean this, especially keep it clean and lubricated. The net result is if you don't and you put it back on, you'll hear a whistle as it's running. So we want to keep this nice and clean and lubricated. So that's contact point number 15. Make sure and keep the canister part up here, up top when we put it on. If we flip this upside down, we won't have any suction because the suction holes are here. So keep the top cap facing up. Number 15. Now we have access to the trap. As the vacuum is running, we want the vacuum on while we're doing this process. While it's running, we're going to take this and pull this out, and it's sucking the liquids out of it. You see how this is dripping because we don't have the vacuum on because of the noise. We don't want it to drip on the floor. So we get a new one, we put it back in, and you see the tab we want facing down right here. So we take it, if the vacuum was on, I put it right here and it'll just suck it right out of my hands into there. The 16th, sweet 16 final O-ring is right here. So the 16th one is important and probably the least maintained. Same thing, if we don't lubricate this, we're just going to hear a hissing noise. So now that we've got the last one, we've scrubbed this canister, every part of this will come apart. You can take here and pop this off, pull the trap out, clean this really well, and even down inside of here. So what I recommend to do is to grab your syringe, grab your brush, as the vacuum's running, spray some water in here, slosh it around, and let it go down here. We ask that you do not use a sandy cloth or anything down in there because you could have the possibility of it sucking it down the trap and lodging in the pipe somewhere below the concrete. So please use a syringe with air and water and then your brush to clean that out just to make it look clean and shiny. Once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and put the trap container back on, plug in all of our lines, put the cap on, and then you're ready to go. A couple more things about the assistance instrumentation is the syringe. So the syringe comes with metal syringe tips. If you'd like to use plastic, they'll work as well, but these just pull out and pop back in. No buttons to push. The most important thing you want to do is make sure that this assembly is tight. So if I can unscrew this with my fingers, it is too loose. So I have unscrewed it, and you'll notice right here there's a black O-ring. If you ever have air-water crossover during the middle of a procedure, there's a couple things we can do. One, it's either too loose because it's not screwed in here tight enough. The very center inside of there is where the water squirts out. So if this black O-ring is not secure around that hole, you're going to have water going into the airline. To fix this, either replace the O-ring if you've tightened it down and it doesn't work. Otherwise, between procedures, most of the time you can just tighten this down and it'll fix the problem until you can get an Allen wrench, put in here and 2-finger tight that so that we don't over tighten this. The next thing that could occur, because these are detachable, if we come in one day and there's a gap between here and here, you may or may not have water and air. So if we come in and we go to hit the air and the water and nothing works, the fix is just to tighten this. This is designed so that we can autoclave the syringe portion of it. So we want to tighten this, and now everything works. Next on here, once we've configured this the way that we like, there's also more configuration available. Meaning these are individual 1, 2, 3, 4 positions. So let's say that we don't use the HVE as often as we use this one, but we want more access to the saliva ejector. Simply take these off and you have rotation here and here, meaning I pull it out and rotate it. So it's like a set of gears. We're pulling these out and rotating them to the next gear. So pull, rotate. So if we want to face them downward, face them back, or we want to get rid of this, I can pull, I can rotate, let go, pull, and rotate the other way. Now I've gotten my second HV out of the way, and I have more access to my saliva ejector. So position these the way that's correct for you.